Maxwell Chikumbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor, rose to fame with claims of creating self-charging electric cars, wireless power generators, and even a helicopter that runs on green energy. His story quickly spread across Africa and beyond, celebrated as proof that groundbreaking innovation could come from the continent. But as journalists and scientists began examining his claims, doubts emerged. Evidence now suggests that his inventions may be elaborate fabrications rather than technological breakthroughs. We even did an expose on his life and inventions, celebrating him as a genius from the motherland, but unfortunately a lot of reports and evidence have come out lately that make these inventions questionable, and unfortunately it is things like this that put a bad target on Africa. In this video we examine his claims, the allegations leveled against him, and what he has done to defend himself, if he has done anything. First, let's start with his. Chikumbutso first gained recognition in the early 2000s when he claimed to have developed an electric car that could charge itself while in motion. He founded a company called Scythe Technologies in Harare and showcased prototypes that attracted attention from the media and politicians. He presented himself as a self-taught inventor who had built helicopters, generators, and even radio transmitters from scratch. To many Africans hungry for technological success stories, he became a symbol of local genius defying global expectations. Chikumbutso's most famous invention is the Greener Power Machine, a generator he said could recharge its own batteries using radio frequency energy. This technology was also later implemented in his cars. The claim, if true, would overturn the fundamental laws of thermodynamics, which state that energy cannot be created from nothing. Every real-world energy system involves loss through heat or friction. If his car truly produced more energy than it used, it would be a perpetual motion machine, something scientists have proven impossible. This alone is enough to cast doubt on his entire portfolio of inventions. But his customers didn't mind because many poured their money into his product while awaiting delivery of their purchase at a stipulated future date. Many milestones and deadlines were missed, and still his customers were patient. It was after years had gone by with no response from Scythe Technologies that the doubts rose and cracks began to appear on the promises of the company. Many of his clients have released public statements of how they got defrauded of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I spoke to Emmanuel. He was also not happy at all. He invested a lot of money in this project and did not get one item supplied. So that's bad, very, very bad. You can imagine if you buy something you want to get supplied, and not only Emmanuel put money, also South Africa put money and did not get supplied. So we have a list of people now who invested money in this project and did not get supplied.
None of Chikumbutso's inventions have ever been independently verified. He has repeatedly refused to allow engineers or scientists to test his machines under controlled conditions. Instead, he claims that powerful foreign corporations are trying to suppress his discoveries. But no evidence supports this story. Real innovations are tested, replicated, and peer-reviewed. Chikumbutso's reluctance to let others examine his technology suggests that he fears exposure, not suppression.
It is strange that nobody is hurt by such an amount of power. Our body loves to absorb RF energy and will get heated, or our cells and DNA will be destroyed. If the wavelength of RF is long, hundreds of meters, you will need a very long antenna to grab RF power.
It has been over 10 years since he started talking about this technology, first from generators that required no fuel to televisions running without needing to be plugged in. He even reportedly built a hybrid helicopter that ran on partial renewables and partial energy from the surrounding, yet none of these products have been commercially available. From our humble business perspective, the first thing he should have done was to get the low-cost generators to the hands of businesses in Africa and the TV to stores like salons, supermarkets, video game houses, and barbershops, as there are numerous such businesses all over Africa. If these micro and small businesses were to use these products and it worked as stated, they would be the ones singing his praise all over social media. Because these are the businesses most in need of his invention, considering that they lack proper access to electricity and tend to spend more just to power their business. This invention would have immediately eradicated their need for fuel-powered generators, thereby optimizing their operational overhead.
Greener power off-grid machine. The name greener, it came because the technology is green energy. No emissions, no consumables, nothing is dangerous on the machine, because what we're simply doing is we're harnessing a radio frequency, natural radio frequency, converted into energy.
That level of word of mouth would be all he needed to get investors interested. Also, if he started this way as a small business, he could use this means to raise capital for expansion. Yet, in 10 years, no single customer has come on social media to talk about a product of his that they use. The only information available online about his company has been negative press and people who lost their funds to him. In 2025, fact-checkers at Pure Nigeria and other outlets discovered that one of his supposed inventions, a hypersonic energy generator, was actually a mass-produced portable power station sold on Amazon by a Chinese company called Browi. The device Chikumbutso presented as his creation was the same model, rebranded with his logo. This revelation damaged his credibility, and when confronted, he and his team gave no explanation. It raised the possibility that all his other inventions might also be modified off-the-shelf products. Initially, the Zimbabwean government supported him. The Ministry of Information promoted his story as a national achievement, posting photos and videos of his demonstrations. It even seemed like the president endorsed him in a popular video that circulated all over social media.
And this is the first time in the world. With that technology, it violates the laws of energy in thermodynamics, and also the first law of energy as well.
So they wanted to arrest him for changing physics.
Yes.
However, when journalists began exposing inconsistencies, those posts were quietly deleted. This silent backtracking showed that even officials realized they had endorsed unverified claims. The government's initial enthusiasm turned into embarrassment as it became clear they had failed to vet his work. Several reports indicate that investors lost money to his projects. Zimai and the Observer Zim documented complaints from individuals and groups who paid large sums, some as high as 125,000 euros, for exclusive rights to his technology. They received no functioning products or patents in return. These investors now allege fraud. This pattern, grand claims, emotional storytelling, and financial loss, is common in scam operations dressed up as innovation. Chikumbutso's interviews reveal shifting stories. He once claimed his generator could power 300 homes, then later said it was only a small prototype. In one interview, he said his technology used microconversion of radio waves, while in another, he described it as energy harvested from magnetic fields. These contradictions suggest he lacks a real understanding of how his own inventions supposedly work. The inconsistency weakens his already fragile credibility. If you listen to any keynote by inventors, you will hear them explain intricately about how their invention works without giving away too much details for the invention to be stolen. It is possible to talk about the science of a technology so that investors have faith in the technology without giving away the secrets of it. Instead, Maxwell employs what is commonly referred to as a hallmark of pseudoscience is the use of vague technical terms that sound impressive but mean nothing. Chikumbutso often mentions radio frequency energy conversion, microwaves harnessing, and green wireless power. None of these phrases correspond to real, measurable processes in electrical engineering. Experts from the University of Zimbabwe and South African universities who reviewed his claims said his explanations were incoherent, mixing bits of real science with nonsense. This linguistic trickery is typical of scams that rely on confusing non-experts. Media outlets played a major role in spreading his story without proper fact-checking. Many local journalists celebrated him as proof that Africa could compete with Silicon Valley. We certainly did the same on our channel. If you missed that video, you can find it in the description below. Not our proudest moment. The narrative of a self-taught genius creating limitless clean energy was emotionally powerful and patriotic. Africa championed his claims because we are used to the West stealing from us and rebranding it as theirs. They've done this time and time again in various sectors: technology, medicine, engineering, literature and arts, music, fashion, and much more. So when an African claims to have done something unprecedented, the entire continent backs this person as a way to safeguard our own. As a result, few reporters questioned the lack of evidence. When fact-checkers later debunked his inventions, many of those articles disappeared from the internet. But by then, the damage had been done. Millions already believed in his myth. Chikumbutso frequently claims that Western powers are suppressing his inventions to protect the global energy industry. This argument is common among fraudsters because it shifts blame from the lack of proof to imaginary enemies. In reality, the energy sector constantly seeks new technologies. If his devices worked, corporations would race to buy the patents, not silence them. History shows that real breakthroughs like electric cars or solar panels are quickly commercialized. His invention would mean that companies would get to sell more new products. Look at it this way: big car companies that move to electric vehicles are currently struggling to sell cars because more people than expected have bought the EV they were selling, and the EV sector has reached a saturation threshold. The only way they would get more cars off the shelf would be to embrace a new technology. If consumers see that they no longer have to purchase EV that require charging, which still requires funds, and this new invention is a lifetime purchase with no need to recharge or maintain, they'd happily exchange their current cars for this new one, meaning companies get to sell new products instead of holding on to products that no longer sell. So claiming that foreign companies are trying to suppress his produce is simply a conspiracy narrative that doesn't add up. Chikumbutso often says that God gave him the blueprints for his inventions through dreams and visions. Nikola Tesla also had similar claims, saying his inventions were laid out in front of him in a dream or vision. While spirituality can motivate creativity, it cannot substitute for scientific evidence. The difference between Tesla and Maxwell is that Tesla actually invented commercial products that we use today, products that, at the time of their invention, were verified by fellow scientists to be accurate. He also gave scientific demonstrations where he invited the public to test the products themselves to verify their authenticity. The truth is that technology depends on measurable, repeatable results, not belief. When an inventor uses divine revelation as a shield against technical questioning, it usually signals the absence of real data. And he made these claims in a heavily religious continent like Africa because the people wouldn't question it much. After all, after the many centuries of suppression by the West, it would only be fair to believe that God is finally shining a light on Africa. This blend of faith and pseudoscience creates confusion, especially among audiences that value religious devotion. A legitimate inventor files patents and publishes technical documentation to prove originality. Searches in international patent databases show no record of patents registered under Chikumbutso's name. Similarly, no recognized scientific journals have ever published his work. His inventions exist only in interviews, YouTube videos, and unverified social media posts. Without patents or peer-reviewed validation, his claims remain empty words. He has gone on record to say that his filings were rejected so he couldn't patent them because they didn't understand his technology or were threatened by him. Okay, while this is a possibility, he could also have written a scientific paper published through a conference or a reputable journal to give his invention some credibility. Many technologies have done this. Even if he refuses to get the work published through credible journals, he could still have published a white paper online in an open-sourced format as was done by Satoshi Nakamoto for the blockchain and Bitcoin technologies. That way there's scientific evidence that can be verified, and it would be on record that this technology came from him and cannot be disputed globally. Chikumbutso's story has harmed real African inventors. His exaggerated and false claims make investors and international partners more cautious about funding African tech projects. When claims like this are exposed, they cast doubt on legitimate research and innovation across the continent. Genuine inventors working on solar energy, robotics, or AI face skepticism because of people like him who promise miracles and deliver nothing. Part of his success came from emotional nationalism. Many Africans wanted to believe in a hero who could challenge Western dominance in technology. This desire for validation blinded some supporters to obvious scientific flaws. When his story collapsed, it left disappointment and reinforced harmful stereotypes that African innovation is untrustworthy. True progress requires critical thinking, not blind faith in self-proclaimed geniuses. In recent interviews, he said he relocated his research to the United States to continue his work freely, but investigations found no company registrations, laboratories, or verified addresses connected to him there. He continues to post videos online but offers no real proof of progress. This absence of traceable operations suggests that the US narrative is another illusion to maintain relevance and credibility among followers. Chikumbutso repeatedly announces ambitious projects: a solar-powered bus, a self-sustaining power plant, a wireless charging grid, but none ever materialized. He promised demonstrations that never happened and facilities that were never built. Each new project followed the same pattern: grand claims, investor excitement, and silence when results were due. This trail of unfinished work mirrors the behavior of classic con artists who move from one claim to another before scrutiny catches up. A smart investor starts with something small but groundbreaking, gets that off the ground for customers and clients to buy and test and review. From that, the investor raises capital, then expands before pivoting to other equally groundbreaking products. Why does Maxwell consistently shift from one idea to another when the previous ones haven't materialized or been commercialized? Although Zimbabwean authorities have not charged him with fraud, public calls for investigation are growing. Journalists and independent investigators have documented enough inconsistencies to warrant scrutiny. Victims of his financial schemes continue to come forward. What began as a story of national pride now resembles one of Zimbabwe's largest technological hoaxes, damaging both public trust and investor confidence. Maxwell Chikumbutso may not be the evil genius some imagine, but the evidence shows a clear pattern of deception. His inventions violate scientific laws, lack verification, and have defrauded investors. The tragedy is not just his dishonesty, but the harm done to Africa's reputation for genuine innovation. His story reminds us that progress is built on truth, not illusion. Africa does not need miracle inventors. It needs real scientists, engineers, and thinkers who can prove their work. What do you think about Maxwell and why he has carried on like this? Leave your comments below. And before you leave, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.